I'm back. I'm back and I want to try this again. I want to be sure that I'm just following divine direction. However, I do know that I am behind on these messages because I'm still having dreams. I'm still getting taken places, so I need to catch up. So this message is behind, as are the rest of these videos, but I am just going through slowly but surely, steadily trying to, again, I'm walking in a new path. Also, I'm going to be including a new picture as well because I believe that's where I get the most focus, is when I can put something down on paper. So I've kind of gotten more into drawing and writing. Now, I do remember talking in my last video about the October and December dream that happened at the end of 2019 about somebody coming to warn me. There was something coming towards me, yada, yada, yada. I think I really did understand. I understand what that's about now, seeing where we are right now. But I'm going to read this passage from March 14th, 2020. I wrote it at 7:30 p.m. Word for word. Lately, my dreams have been vivid, very clear and sharp. These are definitely spirits in my dreams, in the form of people. I have had 3 dreams thus far, me meeting with 3 different people. These dreams are not happening back to back, but a few days apart. The first dream may have come in the first days of March, on the first 5 days, maybe the second. This dream, a fellow, maybe a younger and thinner brown skin, in a light colored suit, sat across from me. It seemed like we were at a bar, at a table, small area, bar-like setup. Maybe large couch chairs or something. This guy was the scariest one for me, as he was my first encounter, and it felt very real. I can't remember a name, but he ended up laying belly down on the chair/couch sitting. He was short. When he laid down, I saw his height and he seemed embarrassed. I had 2 drinks. I believe it says 2 drinks. I'm not sure. We talked and left. The second dream I had may have appeared less than a week later. This was female. Her and I have met before. This was a different energy, though. She seemed grumpy and unimpressed. She wasn't mad at me, but her face had some concern amongst it. She was older, but she was soft-spoken. I didn't know her name, though. It was like we already knew each other without formally meeting. Her attire was all red, even a red hair bow and brows to go with her outfit. Whatever the case, it was so real. In my last dream, I met a guy, very masculine energy, dark suit, 2-piece suit, fresh shoes, and accessories to match. He was a reject, though. People rejected and refused his greatness. The second lady also showed up in my third dream. They were arguing first, then eventually toward me. Now that is the end of the dream of March 14th, and I want to go on to March 24th. And this was at 10:55 p.m. God needs me now more than ever. These dreams keep coming and the downloads keep coming too. I'm a witness and a servant for God, and He has instilled in me His power. I'm all too powerful, but He needs me to work for Him. I hear things better than I can see them, but He has been talking to me and He has been saying, it's time, it's time. I have been procrastinating long enough. For some reason, God wants me to work really hard, excruciating work. But He knows I do my best work when I'm under pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. I have a lot of work to do, and I'm already exhausted, but I've already won. Prayer every day at 4:44 a.m. I usually roll right out of bed and right into prayer. Before starting my day at 5 a.m., I am giving thanks and glory to God. I must do better at documenting my dreams. I've been going many different places, and I've been meeting a lot of people I will be meeting in the future. God uses my dreams as a classroom. My dreams are a gymnasium for my spiritual growth. I must exercise listening to Him and interpreting His messages. Jesus speaks in parable. God doesn't talk at all much. He moves. God doesn't talk in times that call for action, correction. God does talk. He just instructed me to say that God does have a voice, but it's soft and supple. God's movements are powerful. Jesus doesn't move how God moves. Jesus guides, directs, and advises. Jesus is the leader, the overseer of the land. Jesus is the one who coordinates coincidences. God is the one that sets the timetable. God sets the designated location for your destiny. God says who you are, what you are, where you are, and when. Jesus is the how. God says there's only one ruler. All others with a face are idols, plastic, God says. True God has no face, is light and wind. My next dream is March 25th, 2020, and I think I'm going to just stop at this one because I do have some going into April. But I'm going to just stop at March 25th, 2020 at 8:25 p.m. I got a wake-up call from God. He has my ears ringing so loudly I can't hear anybody else but His angels. I hear the orchestra, urgent, alarming, and frightening. Get in the Word. One major thing about me and my mindset is that I stop myself from moving forward if I don't have all of my answers together. I don't like to approach new or unfamiliar situations without some research and backup. If I am going to move forward delivering messages from God, I need to have something to back me up. Fortunately, I do have at least 3 people that can agree I can access the spirit world. I cannot see clearly into the future unless I get a quick vision, but I hear everything because my angels tell me everything, and I can interpret messages so clearly. What is more important than ever right now is hearing God's word Himself. So I prayed about where to officially start. I flipped back and forth through my Bible and landed on Job, chapter 10 and 12. Very funny because 10 and 12 are 2 of my angel numbers. 10 is Gabriel and 12 is Michael. Anywho, the first thing I noticed was Job, chapter 10. And then I checked the page number. And the second thing I saw was chapter 12. Job answers his critics. Huge sign for me. I have always asked, How will people believe that I get these angel messages? How will people believe that God is indeed real and alive, very much so living? How will I shut down all of those who challenge me? I will answer my critics, and just as Job did. This is where I will start my ministering, and this is where my official Bible study begins. And it's time for work to be done. But the next day, March 26th, I wrote again at 11:05. In just a small passage, though, it says, even though I can't remember my dreams vividly, I do remember meeting with somebody again. Blue shirt. We were sitting face to face. The dream was very blurry, but I remember a bigger energy, masculine energy, sitting closely across from me. We were whispering. I'm not sure about what, but that's that. And before, that is the last dream, March 26, 2020 at 11:05 p.m. And then my next entry was April 8th. So I'm going to stop right there. I am going to stop right there because I am having something appear very strongly every 3 months. My first encounter and my nightmares won't stop one. I documented October 25th. I got something whispering in my ear, and then December 10th, 12:10, which are my angel numbers, and Gabriel and Michael are very much so with me right now, as you can hear them as they talk too much. I don't know why they talk through things. They talk through noises around me, and it's annoying, but they are very much so here. So I got the 12 and 10. And I talked about that in my first video. My second video, I was in January, which was just from October. It's only about two months or so, but I was into January going into February, and I do have a very long passage here, January 26, 2020 at 9:45 p.m. And then when I'm talking about today are March 14th to March 24th, actually March 26th. So every 2 months or so, I'm getting something. I'm getting a major energy come to me, and I am interpreting it right now as a nightmare, but today I do have a little bit of a different energy. It's not so much of a nightmare. I am thinking of it as a nightmare because this isn't a natural energy that I've experienced while I'm dreaming before. I'm normally, when I'm sleeping, I don't really remember too many dreams. I do have some childhood dreams that I have carried with me now. I haven't had one of those scary childhood dreams in a long time, but I keep those in my memory even today. But I'm actually meeting people. I'm actually having an encounter with spirits. And like I said, again, in my first dream, and maybe I mentioned this in my second one, I'm going to mention this every single time. When I'm meeting these people, except for that last energy where it was very blurry, those first 3 spirits were skeleton. There were no flesh and blood. They did not look like natural people. It was not a physical, normal person that I would talk to in the real carnal world. This was a skeleton. This was a bone, dry bones. Some of them were like dusty skeleton, especially the lady. I could tell she had bags under her eyes. Even though she was a skeleton, the under eye part was dark. And she had hair, but it was stringy. And that is God telling me that this is a spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. March 24th, I mentioned plastic. That is a forecast for me that the next crisis in America will come from the credit crisis. In other words, plastic. Not necessarily me, because I do not have any credit card debt, but in America, the average household, it has about $6,000 worth. That's the average. The individual person is different, and there are some individual people that are suffering, and I feel like I'm getting those people in my dream. Number one, the guy that was laying down kind of under the table, he was down under. He was nice, fresh suit, fresh shoes, but he was down up under something, maybe under debt, maybe under his mortgage, possibly under his car loans, maybe 2 and 3 cars that he's not keeping up with. He's holding a level of a sense of, he was living beyond his means. And God is showing me that there's a lot of people in America like him living beyond their means. And the second lady, who was an older lady, possibly seemed like women who were often used to getting their way, very kind of bossy women, women that really don't have to say much to get things done. Those women right now are affected. They're trying to hold on to their jewelry. The lady that was in all red, she wore a lot of jewelry. She had on like pearl necklaces, bracelets. She had on, again, her hair bow was red. Some of her shoes were red. Some of the other accessories she had on were like red and silver and gold. But she was trying to keep up with a level of status in America that she could no longer keep up. Some people may not like this message, but I'm gonna be straight on. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm not the type to anyway to hold my tongue. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't like cotton candy. Again, I'm a banker, so I'm very used to providing facts along with feelings. Those who have been privileged for a very, very long time in America have stepped down. It is time for you to move away. The lady in the middle, she was bone. She was a bigger bone. A little bit taller, thicker. She was grumpy. She was unimpressed. She had a very long frown on her face. Those privileged women in America who have sat with their arms crossed for so long. I'm talking about women who do not help their husbands pay bills. I'm talking about women who work very small, short-time jobs and complain. I'm talking about the women who get mad at the men after they chose to have 4 and 5 children. Those women who are very, very grumpy and bitter towards their friends who are successful, towards their family members who they feel like have held them back from certain opportunities when that's not the case. Those very privileged women right now in America, step down because you have lost your privilege. You've lost your place. That's what God has given me in the dream about the second lady that I met. And I'm not remembering what days in March I'm meeting these people. I just know sometime in March. So this was a couple months ago. So this was before coronavirus was truly in effect, before they truly shut down businesses and things like that. I was meeting and looking at and talking to these people before all of this was going on. And it's scary to me that the third man, the man who's too cool to take care of home, the man that's probably been out in the streets, in the club, the man who is very masculine, who had his nice color suit, he had a drink in his hand. It was very little. He didn't have a lot of drink in his hand. He had a drink, but it was minimal. He was like he didn't need to do too much. However, his appearance stood out for him. He walked with some type of demeanor that, he didn't need to say anything in order to be noticed. That type of man is also coming down. The man, again, who is very cocky and overconfident. God says, you move out of the way. You have been replaced by the man who is God-fearing, God-loving, woman-loving, loves his household, takes care of his bills, is a good steward over his money, his finances, who is a good steward over everything that he owns. He is not a slave to the lender. Hello, do you hear me? I'm talking to the ones who are not in a place where they are literally giving up their life to somebody somebody else where they can't sleep at night, or they do sleep for only 2 and 3 hours because they are up stressed and rolling over at night because they cannot sleep. They owe this person and that person an apology. Those people who feel like they have been rejected, however, they are not rejected. They are just not necessarily respected because of all of the things because of their character. Because you have brought so much cockiness and pride over here. You want us to apologize? No, it's time for you to step down, move away from this cool guy persona that you have been holding on to, and let it go. God says release all of it. There is a kingdom of people that God is raising up, and I am one of them. And my soon to be whoever it is husband is one of them. And all of the people who are listening to this are one of them. Because you're not here for no reason. And God, again, is building up a kingdom. So if you are feeling like you are trying to pursue a passion and you don't know how it's going to come to pass, let me tell you something, my brother and sister. You are not alone, because I'm right there with you. I don't know what's about to happen with these messages, but I'm not writing them down for no reason. And God truly has me here daily. But me uploading daily, I'm very uncomfortable with. God is trying to push me up out of my comfort zone and more into where I need to be. I need to be into some type of podcasting. I've already had a couple of shows anyway. Like, I'm not shy to this. It is the level of work that I'm having to put in. It is the type of work that I'm having to put in. It is the fact that many people will not even be able to comprehend this level of intelligence that I'm instilling right now. This is a level of intuition. This is a very high intellectual capability that some people do not possess. And I am actually going to be talking to the people who can ingest all of this and spit it right back out at me, because we need those people. Because I'm also getting images about those people in the White House, those people in those political parties are about to be replaced. Oh, I just got passionate about it, because they are up there and they are ruining us in America. America is supposed to be land of the free, home of the brave, but God just gave me another message. He said we could never be land of the free, home of the brave when we were built on the backs of slaves. This land can never be as prosperous as it should be because of where we started, but that doesn't mean that where we have to end up is going to be ugly. I'm not just here for no reason, just saying this. And I'm going to be back. Because in my dream book with you guys, I stopped in March on the 26th. I have messages in there from April, and I have messages in there from May. Now, what I need to do is catch up, because we are heading into June, and I need to know what's going to happen before the 25th, because I feel like every 2 months I'm getting something. So that was back in March. On the 26th is when I ended. That was April, May. I don't even know where we at. All I know is that May 26th is coming up, and I need to be prepared. I just need y'all to pray with me.